The asphalt ribbon unwinds before you, blurring into an indistinguishable gray canvas. At 120 miles per hour, the very air seems to thicken, resisting your passage as the world outside the windshield dissolves into streaks of color. Your knuckles whiten against the leather of the steering wheel, each pulse a tangible reminder of the raw power coursing through the machine. Behind your head, the turbocharged four-cylinder engine unleashes a visceral howl, a mechanical symphony of controlled explosions and spinning turbines. Every imperfection in the road's surface telegraphs its presence directly to your senses, a relentless drumming through the supportive embrace of the seat. Just as you perceive the apex of its breathtaking acceleration, just when your senses tell you it can give no more, you instinctively engage the clutch, snick the lever into fifth gear, and the surge continues. This is more than mere velocity. This is an experience woven with emotion, a tangible connection to the machinery and the road. This is speed imbued with soul. This is the 1988 Lotus Esprit Turbo, a vehicle not content with simply traversing distance at pace, but one that seems to thrum with an intrinsic desire to devour miles, to live for the very act of rapid motion. In an automotive landscape dominated by the brawny rumble of American V8s and the meticulously engineered precision of six-cylinder German power plants, Lotus presented a compellingly different proposition. Their weapon of choice in the pursuit of speed was a curveball, an unexpected deviation from the norm, a mid-mounted 2.2-liter inline four-cylinder engine. But this was no ordinary four-pot. Forged with a Garrett T3 turbocharger forcing air into its combustion chambers, featuring a sophisticated 16-valve cylinder head, and fed by precise bursts of fuel from a Bosch K-Jetronic injection system, this compact powerhouse generated a remarkable 215 horsepower. The result was a slingshot-like acceleration, propelling the LIKE Esprit Turbo to 60 miles per hour in a mere 5.3 seconds. While such a figure might seem commonplace in today's world of hyper-performance vehicles, in the context of 1988, it was nothing short of astonishing. This made the Lotus Esprit Turbo the quickest four-cylinder automobile that money could buy in America. And its performance prowess didn't conclude with that initial sprint. This low-slung wedge of pure velocity devoured the quarter mile in a scant 14.1 seconds, crossing the finish line at an impressive 97 miles per hour. Its turbocharged engine screaming its defiance all the way to a top speed of 148 miles per hour. Compounding its performance advantage was its remarkably low weight. Tipping the scales at under 3,000 pounds, the Esprit Turbo was an exercise in Colin Chapman's famous philosophy of simplify then add lightness. To provide a contemporary perspective, this iconic sports car weighed less than a modern Mazda MX-5 Miata, a vehicle renowned for its agility and lightweight construction. The equation was simple, and the result was exhilarating. A stellar horsepower-to-weight ratio endowed the Esprit with blistering acceleration, while its meticulously engineered chassis provided handling that could only be described as razor-sharp. This wasn't merely an underdog contender. It was a street-legal scalpel, capable of surgically dissecting the performance credentials of far more conventionally powered rivals. It confidently outmaneuvered the V8-powered Ford Mustang GT, held its own against the sophisticated Porsche 944 Turbo S, and even dared to nip at the heels of legendary supercars like the Ferrari 328 and the formidable Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. But the essence of the 1988 Lotus Esprit Turbo extended beyond the cold, hard numbers of performance. Let us step inside its cockpit, for 1988 marked a pivotal year in the Esprit's evolution, one that transcended mere velocity. Lotus, a company deeply rooted in the pursuit of ultimate lap times, had been diligently learning and adapting. They recognized that the original Giugiaro-designed aesthetic, undeniably iconic and groundbreaking in its time, was beginning to show its age, its sharp folded lines hinting at a bygone era. Thus, the responsibility of refining this legend was entrusted to their in-house design team. The outcome was a revelation, a sleeker, more curvaceous, and altogether more organic iteration of the Esprit. Gone were the distinctive razor-sharp edges and the overtly geometric folded paper aesthetic that had defined its predecessors. In C, their place emerged flowing lines that caressed the car's silhouette, smoother integrated bumpers that softened its visage, cohesive integrated side skirts that enhanced its grounded stance, and a cleaner, more contemporary front fascia. Yet, despite these significant stylistic revisions, the fundamental wedge-shaped soul of the Esprit remained resolutely untouched. It was still instantly recognizable as a Lotus, but now imbued with a newfound sense of visual sophistication and a palpable increase in sex appeal. This meticulous attention to detail wasn't confined to the exterior. It permeated the interior as well. The traditionally haphazard British switchgear and the often awkward ergonomics of previous Lotus models were consigned to history. In their stead, the 1988 Esprit Turbo offered rake-adjustable Connolly leather, seats that provided both support and luxurious comfort, a redesigned dashboard layout that prioritized driver focus, and a tactile, leather-wrapped steering wheel that felt perfectly sized in the hands. While certain inherent quirks remained, the footwells were still somewhat narrow, the steering column could still obscure the tachometer for taller drivers, and the climate control system possessed the unapologetically boxy aesthetic of an 80s. The boombox. These were minor concessions in what constituted a significant leap forward in interior design and refinement for Lotus. This was Lotus venturing into the realm of perceived luxury, albeit on their own terms. For a small, fiercely independent British company, whose primary obsession revolved around shaving fractions of a second off lap times, this newfound focus on interior appointments was a noteworthy and significant development. However, all discussions of aesthetics and incremental improvements in comfort evaporate the instant you depress the clutch, turn the key, and bring the turbocharged engine to life, because this is not a car that yearns to be admired under the sterile lights of a showroom. It does not crave a life of pampered stillness within the confines of a climate-controlled garage. The 1988 Lotus Esprit Turbo was unequivocally born to move, its very essence defined by the dynamic interaction between driver, machine, and road. Once the tachometer needle sweeps past the 4,000 RPM mark, the engine transcends mere mechanical noise and begins to truly sing. This is not the guttural roar of a large displacement V8, nor the silky purr of a refined Grand Tourer. Instead, it's a unique, metallic, turbocharged wail that evokes the spirit of a rally car, albeit one civilized just enough to be granted the privilege of wearing a license plate. The steering is nothing short of go-kart quick, possessing an almost telepathic connection to the front wheels. You think an action, and the car instantaneously executes it. The chassis serves as an incredibly communicative conduit, relaying every nuance of the road surface directly to your senses. Every subtle ripple in the pavement, every minute degree of cornering load is faithfully transmitted to your fingertips and the seat of your pants. Grip levels are remarkably high, registering an impressive 0.86 G on the skid pad, but the Esprit's true party trick lies in its exquisite balance. Lift off the throttle mid-corner, and the tail will gently step out, providing a playful invitation to explore the limits of adhesion. Push it harder, and the response is not a sudden, unforgiving snap, but a smooth, controllable slide, a demonstration of handling that is at once playful, predictable, and pure. This was the enduring legacy of Colin Chapman's design philosophy. Alive and well in the 1988 Esprit Turbo, simplify the engineering, then meticulously reduce weight. And it worked brilliantly. In a world increasingly populated by over-engineered grand touring machines that often felt detached from the driving experience, the Esprit possessed an undeniable sense of aliveness. It felt mechanical, honest in its interactions, and utterly engaging. Consider its contemporaries. The Chevrolet Corvette C4 boasted a powerful American V8 and a vast aftermarket for performance enhancements, but it often lacked the delicate finesse of the Lotus. The Porsche 944 Turbo S was a paragon of Teutonic precision, a surgical instrument in its handling capabilities, but arguably somewhat cold and clinical in its feedback. The Ferrari Testarossa exuded undeniable drama and visual presence, but it was significantly heavier, demonstrably slower through corners, and commanded a price tag that was nearly double that of the Esprit. The Lotus Esprit Turbo carved its own distinct niche in this competitive landscape, artfully blending exotic supercar aesthetics, genuine high-performance capabilities, and a surprising degree of everyday usability. And here's the captivating twist. It wasn't just adept at straight-line speed. It was genuinely thrilling and rewarding in the corners. Engage in conversation with owners of these cherished machines today, and you'll invariably hear captivating stories of memorable long road trips undertaken in surprising comfort, exhilarating runs through winding canyon roads where the Esprit's agility truly shone, and even track days where this unassuming British sports car surprised seasoned veterans. And there